Hi, happy Wednesday. Is it? It is Wednesday. Okay. I'm like, I don't even know what day it is. Happy Wednesday. I don't never think to do none of this stuff until I turn the camera on. All the stuff that I mess up while I'm sitting here. Hey, hi, Tage, what you doing? I see you been running after them cheering, honey. I've been seeing that. Oh, these babies is getting big so fast. Like, and it's so crazy because, like, these couple of years is such big changes, and then then you just be the same for like 10 years at a time. Like, in the beginning, you change so fast from a kid to from a baby to a toddler to a preteen to a teenager. And then you just be 20 for 10 years, and then you be 30 for 10 years, and then you be 40 for 10 years. But them kids, they just move so fast. The time goes so fast. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, it's Wednesday. And Wednesday is Ask Coach Catasha. Okay, 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 okay. All right. So let's talk about what this is going to look like for today. Okay. So this is an open area for you to ask me whatever sexual health questions that you want. Okay. Whatever questions you have, I am here to answer them. Comma, but, okay, comma, but. We are still on somebody else's platform, okay? So I encourage you to ask whatever question you need to ask, but I'm going to challenge you to put your Grey's Anatomy, your House, whatever show in the heat of the night, whatever you be watching, I need you to put that hat on when you're formulating these questions, because a lot of these systems, I think I'm streaming on like 4 different platforms right now. They have um, they have moderators, built-in moderators in the system. And so some of the words that you type don't make it into the chat for me to see. So if you want to leave the words that you think are going to be flagged out, I'm totally okay with that. I'm pretty good with my context clues. So, just leave that word out and we'll answer the rest of the question, okay? You can ask me whatever question you have. Now, I am going to assume, hey, the only sponge. going to assume, if you ask me any questions, I'm going to assume goodwill. I'm going to assume that you are honestly and earnestly asking me a question, and I'm going to answer in the same way. I'm also going to assume whatever language that you have for the question, even if it's not the perfect language, I'm going to assume that that's the only language that you have, and I'm not going to assume ill will with the language, okay? So, but of course, I will correct you, get you on the right path so that when you are trying to get into these spaces, that you are using the right kind of language. But I am not going to berate or any of that if you do not have the language. I will correct it, but it's no big deal. I'm not expecting you to know anything about my expertise. Okay. Who am I? Okay. My name is Catasha Gordon. I have been teaching sex education for about 11 years now. I actually started teaching sex education on Craigslist. On Craigslist. It was actually a time, and it definitely taught me a whole lot about how people move and what they need and what kind of support that adults need through their sexual journey. So, in that, I have been teaching for a bunch of years. If you Google me, if you Google my name, I actually come up. So, I worked very hard to get the first 2 pages of Google, okay? Now, when you get to the bottom of the second page, that don't be me. Okay, that's not me. But them first couple of pages on Google are actually me. So I have books. I've taught. I've taught doctors. I've taught clinicians, physicians. I've taught counselors, clergy. I've taught military. I've taught police. I've taught a lot of different groups of people and worked in a lot of different niche communities. I've also I do some private work. We do what we have to do. And so I also have worked in some very posh spaces as well. So I've been doing this for a while. I say all that to say I've been doing this for a while. And in that, I have learned a lot about sexuality, about different cultures, different people, and what they're into, how to get into it, what to do, and I'm really good at creating a space for you to learn more about those things as well. So, if you have any questions about anything, any kind of whatever your heart desires, feel free to drop that question in the chat and I will answer it. Okay? And keep in mind, some of this stuff doesn't even come up, like the internal moderation doesn't even show me the question. So just if you want to skip over the words, if you want to do it like BET used to do back in the day, it'd be like, I don't want no more Monday, Friday snakes on this Mickey Ficky plane. I'll still get it. Just whatever you have to ask, make it in a way that will not get you blocked and not get me blocked. But I'll be back. So I don't want to get you blocked because I'll be back. So I will be back, and I want you to be here too. Okay, so, but feel free to ask your questions. Of course, before I got here, I didn't check to see if anybody messaged anything. I tore I don't know if you can see that, my skin, that's on both of my thumbs. I got one of my clients' yards today. I did a new flower bed for her, got a new flower bed, and she's an older client, and I didn't want her to pay like the $60 to rent a tiller and stuff, and so I did it by hand. Oh man. Boy, I was out there about to pass out. I'm talking about pass out. I was about to pass out, but I did it. Yeah, it actually doesn't hurt that bad. I didn't even notice it. And she always gets on me about wearing my gloves, and I never have my gloves on. I did bring them this time. I usually don't even bring them. But I didn't have my gloves on, so it was completely my fault. But it definitely tore my little skin right on up. It's like a flap. And I don't want to tear it off. I don't want to tear it off. That feel weird. I had Band-Aids on it, but I'm not really a Band-Aid girl. I like for air and stuff to like be able to get in there and for it to heal well. Anyway, okay, so Let's go look. I know I did pull a couple of questions out that we had before, but let's go see if we got any new questions. If anybody sent anything to the the website, see if we got any questions that I might have missed. Um, let's see. I did pull some other good questions out too from from my inboxes and emails. Sometimes people just be like, "Hey, let me just ask you something right quick," and I'm like, "Let me, can I? I'm gonna take that. If you don't mind, I'm gonna bring that question back to the group because it does. Sometimes people give me good questions that they just want the answer to, like, oh, what do you have? Okay, so I don't think we have anything in there, but let me be sure. Oh, here we go. Ooh, maybe I do, and I just thought I didn't. Mm, that's not where I want to be. More people are shy. I rarely ever get questions in the chat, which I understand that too. Again, you don't always want everybody in your business, so I understand that. But also, like, it's still important to use the to use the yeah. I think so too. Like, I feel like I get that. I get not wanting to, but I know that people have questions and you just kind of sit on them. I don't want that. I don't want people to just be sitting on questions that they have. Okay, okay. Do 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 do. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Because what'll happen is that I'll go places. People will see me. They'll watch this thing every day, and then I'll go to the movies and run into somebody on the way to the bathroom, and they'll be like, "I'm so glad I saw you out, man. 6 weeks ago, you was talking about rap, 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 and I wanted to say something, and I've been meaning to ask you." I'm like, you gonna make me miss my favorite part. Please get away from me. I'm tired of being hemmed up at parties. And my friends make sure they tell everybody what I do. Like, oh no, everybody knows what you do. So I say anything. I be like, oh yeah, because I like my potato salad. And they be like, she a sex educator. Like, that don't have nothing to do with nothing. They do that to me all the time. Like, oh yeah, your hair is so cute. She a sex educator. What? You just never know. You never know. Okay. Okay, we got nothing in there. Did I bring my phone? I did bring, because I don't think I can even get into my. Let's see what else we have. Um, I don't think it was anything in my Facebook, but y'all know I got in trouble that one time. Somebody messaged me, and I guess I didn't message back fast enough. Boy, he was sick of my shit. He blocked the shit out of me. I want to Google it, but send a message on LinkedIn like, my bad. He probably think I'm fake as hell. Like, but I get it. I'm irresponsible with time. I can definitely tell you that. I regret nothing. But I definitely I'll be on some people's nerves. Okay, so we got nothing in there. Let's see. Nothing new in there, I should say. This just your Instagram and stuff just be full of all the messages, all the videos that everybody send you all day. Like, ooh, Tasha, look at this. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this. Okay, we look good in there. Okay. Well, I'll just start with what I had. Hold on. Did I miss something? That's how I be getting. People be on my head. Okay, I think we good. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to drop the questions in the chat just in case, you come in late and you want to be like, what in the hell is she talking about? The questions are these are all questions that have come from users throughout the week, people who have seen the flyers, because I have flyers for the class to tell people to send their questions, or that have stopped by the lives or whatever. So you can ask any sexual health question you have, around any questions around love, sex, relationships, body parts, whatever. I'm here to answer those questions. So first question is, I didn't. So all three of these didn't give me much information. So this that I'm sending you is all that I have. Sometimes I take the questions, and if I feel like the information is too personal, or if they put parts in there that I know they're going to get us blocked, I'll take those out and just kind of summarize it. But all of these questions are actually how they sent them. So we don't really have a lot, but we got enough information to answer them. So that's what we're going to do. Question number 1. I think I have performance anxiety. How do I deal with that? So that's a good question. Very good question. So performance anxiety, oh man, is I think everybody experiences performance anxiety. Some people are more better. They are better at hiding it than others, or are more aware that they already have it, and so they can mask accordingly. But most people have performance anxiety with everything, but especially around intimate connections. Okay, intimate connections. So you having performance anxiety is not an abnormal thing. It's actually kind of part of what goes along with it. And unless you've been with someone a really long time, you any new encounter, there's going to be some sort of you know heart palpitations or shortness of breath that's going to come along with that. So don't let that be a marker of if you're having fun or not, or any of that, because that is something that is supposed to exist. I know that when you watch interactions of other people, and the way that TV portrays spontaneous desire, it doesn't seem like that's a place for that, but spontaneous desire is for the movies. So the way that things are portrayed, and how people actually experience the sexual arousal process is very different than the way that they portray it on TV. It's way less sexy, way less sexy. So you having performance anxiety, not a deal breaker. Okay. If that performance anxiety is causing you distress, if it is, you feel like it's actually messing with your performance, like it's no longer just the anxiety of it, like now you're actually starting to have repercussions from it, there are some steps you can take to make sure that you stay grounded, and to also use that as a trigger. Maybe there's something deeper at play here that has nothing really to do with sexuality, but just that maybe you have uncontrolled anxiety, or maybe there's some kind of trauma or trigger around sexual activity that causes the body to jump into a fight or flight state. So it's not something that you necessarily want to ignore, even though it's normal. But when it gets to the point where it's starting to affect your quality of life, where you're no longer want to engage in intimate connections because you're worried about the performance, or your size, or whatever, the amount of lubrication you produce, the size of your lips, all these different things if you take your mind into that space, it can remove you from the pleasure that you supposedly showed up for. Okay, so just to be able to recognize, where is this energy coming from? Why am I feeling this way? Where does this stem? Where is it growing from? If it is growing from something that needs to be healed with therapy, it's nothing that you're going to do. You can't do enough push-ups. You're not going to do enough breathing. You're not going to do enough, just keep trying it and to fix it. because the likely cause has nothing to do with sexual activity. So if you are feeling those feelings and none of the next steps that we talk about work, this may be something that you have to take into account. And I like to say that first because I don't believe that therapy is a last resort. I actually feel like therapy is the first resort, and you can figure out what's fucking you up when you get there. Okay. So, and we all of us, anyone who's living on this earth, who's living on society, who has had parents, who anyone who has been shaped by the systems of the planet is likely going to need therapy in some capacity. You never know. And so they talk about it's like 7 different ways that you can be neglected, or the traumas that you can have, and it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much this or that, or your stature or race or any of that. Everybody could be subjected to these 7 traumas or whatever. And so we all at some point, the richest children usually have abandonment issues and think no one cares about them, and they lack values, and because the money has been their currency. And so even those people need therapy. Everybody needs therapy. And again, a therapist is not here to tell you that you're wrong or try to fix none of your problems or do any of that. You can know what's wrong with you and not be able to do nothing about it. You can know that you are reactive. You can know that you are doing risky behaviors with your body. You can know that you are explosive and angry and tolerant and people pleasing. And you can know all those things about yourself and never have an idea on how to fix none of that shit. Never have an idea. Never know what to do to fix people pleasing. This is just all the way I've been. I know that it sucks. I know that it's wrong, but I don't feel good when I say no. So what does that mean? You know what? So all of those things are different activities that a therapist can walk you through, give you the information that other people who have gone through this have done, talk you through why you're feeling that way, and help you make the best decision that fits you. And sometimes just being able to talk to someone out loud helps. So if that is the case, if none of this next stuff works, then therapy. But if you want to, you can just go anyway. I'm sure we need it. Okay. just get on and pay them people. Go on and talk to that lady. Now, if it is not messing with your life, but it is but you want to get it under control, it's just something that's bothering you, but it's not having an effect on your day-to-day or your intimate connections. The things you can do, you can always do grounding exercises. Sometimes when you're in fight or flight, when you start having those types of attacks or start feeling anxious, your systems are concerned, right? And so even though you're not in any danger, you cannot convince your body that you're not. You cannot convince your body that everything's going to be fine and all that stuff. And so you have to use very basic techniques to ground yourself and remind yourself that you're okay. You can reset your nervous system with deep breaths, with different types of breathing techniques. And it also actually, those breathing techniques help you in your sexual arousal process because they bring more oxygen into the blood. It helps the body move because when you get aroused, the body starts naturally taking shallower breaths because it's moving into that anxious anxiety state that to rev it up to get to the plateau, which is the orgasm and then the resolution. But that space in between arousal, desire, and plateau needs needs space. So you have to you got to create that space. So that anxiousness and that anxiety that's in there is supposed to be used for the body, but your body naturally starts to get shallow, your temperature rises. So deep breathing actually helps the body ride that wave into that orgasmic, euphoric place. Okay. So practice your deep breathing, practice breathing techniques, shallow breathing versus deep breathing, whatever you need to do to ground yourself. You can also start feeling for things. So grounding yourself is feeling whatever you're standing on, feeling the earth under your feet. If you are laying on the bed, it's feeling the covers wrapping around your skin or feeling the sheet, feeling your body pressed into the mattress, feeling the points of the mattress. Where do you feel like your weight is being distributed, and just being able to ground yourself and know that you are okay, and to trick your body into getting on board versus your body feels like this, but this is what's actually happening. You want to get them on the same plane. Finding something to stare at. Some people have success with that, just finding a point and staring at it to help calm that anxiousness, that feeling. But one of the most important things you can do for performance anxiety is to study. If you feel like you do not have the information you need to make this a pleasurable experience, then go and get it. Go find it. And again, I write books. I write, no matter what you do with it, I wrote a book to tell you what to do with it. So if you are a penile connoisseur, there's a book that walks you through the full steps of all the erogenous zones of that area down there. It talks about what you can do, different techniques you can use. It talks about a lot of different stuff. If you are a fan of the vulva, then I also have a book for that. It's called Headhunter's Guide. Both of them are called Headhunter's Guide, but one is called 5 Tricks You Can Add to Your Bag Today, and that's for penises. And then Ode to the Munch is for vulvas. And it's not just for, it is a book on fellatio and cunnilingus, but it is also a book with diagrams that shows you all the parts of the genitalia that play a part in your pleasure and reproductive health, and gives you a breakdown on how those different spaces like to be addressed, they like to be touched, how they like to be stroked, and different techniques and things that you can use. And so if you have more information, if you know more, I've never gone into a bedroom with performance anxiety because I know what I'm doing. All I need is a few moments to figure out what we're doing and where we at, and then I'm good. I'm good, baby. I know I got the tools. So being able to know that you have the information, and that if you have studied, that you likely, even if you've only studied a little, you likely know more. You likely know more than a lot of other people. A lot of other people, okay? So if you take the time to study whatever it is, you will internalize that, and when you show up, you will have the regular amount of performance anxiety, but you will also be like, okay, let's go. Like, I know what I came here to do. I'm finna pull out the dupe on you, and it's finna go down. And so give yourself the ability to obtain that knowledge, and to do that, you need to give yourself permission to learn. Permission to learn about sexuality, permission to learn about bodies, permission to learn what your body does, and what the sex of the people that you're interested in, what their body does. Sexuality is a whole immersive experience if you intentionally make it that way. And you don't have to know every single thing to know more than the other people who have shown up. I remember being in high school, and I was not sexually active in high school, and I was like, where did you hear that from? That does not make sense to me. And so there is so many people who have no idea of how to move in a bedroom, how to create pleasure, how to foster pleasure. And you will feel that pressure if you don't have that knowledge. So go and get the knowledge. Go study. There are books there, whatever you need for whatever you like. We do, the community that I work in, I love being a sex educator because it's always something. I'm like, they doing what? Like, I find there's so many different ways to find pleasure that's even outside, and like so many niche groups of people that have even nothing to do with sexuality. It has nothing to do with penetration, getting naked, any of that. It is just the euphoric feeling of being able to experience this type of thing and be in a space where you can be free and be open to do that. So go learn. Go learn and then come back and tell me how it went. Go learn and then tell me what happened. I absolutely encourage you, no matter who you are, married, straight, gay, single, non-binary, trans, mouche, whoever you are, whatever you participate in, there is so much more to learn about sexuality, and there's no one studying it. If you wanted to make some money, that's why I was like, let me get in here. There is going to be in the future, there are so many things about sexuality that are unstudied. They still don't even know what some of these fluid makeups are. They still don't know how you get endometriosis. They don't understand where female ejaculation comes from. I mean, what triggers female ejaculation. There's so many things that they have no idea why it works. They're just like, this is in here, and it does over here, right by this. But it's so much research to do and so many things to know. Like, come out here. We need y'all. We need everybody. No matter what you do, there are people who are getting paid, getting money from cuddle parties, big paper from cuddle parties. Like, you could be whatever, and you probably may be the person that would love to pay for a cuddle party. If that is you, it is out there. If it's not out there, make it. Make it. And it invite me. Shit. So, performance anxiety is, oh, great new day, coach. Well, thank you. Like, that was very, I feel like I gotta be more professional. I came here talking about butts. That's my favorite thing. Yeah, people have cuddle parties. There are professional cuddle parties. You could be, okay, hold on. Let me see how I can say this. You could be a sexual surrogate. You could be, in some places, you can legally be a sexual surrogate. So, I'm just saying, it's out there, is all I'm saying. All of that stuff, every single piece of whatever you are into is out there. You just got to get in the scene. You got to figure out where they at, where the people who are doing the stuff that you like, figure out where they at and go there. That's what they over there doing. They listen. It is so, and again, a cuddle party is a novel idea. That is a great way to get that oxytocin, to get that serotonin dump, and you don't have to really be vulnerable or be exposed or anything. You just go in there, hug up. Sometimes they make big cuddle parties, so it'll be like 30 people on a floor just snuggled up, and they paid for an hour to do that, to come in here and snuggle up under other people. And so, of course, I support that. I absolutely want that for you. But people are making money doing that. So, if you want to, all I'm saying is you ain't hustling hard enough. You ain't hustling hard enough, baby. Put the cuddle party on Eventbrite. No, don't put it on Eventbrite. Eventbrite take my events down every year. They take my Halloween party down every year. Like, get this out of here. We do not support this. Like, oh man. They take my events off every year. They wait till I get to the end too, and then I push publish, and they be like, "No, ma'am. We don't think this aligns with our values." Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, it is a whole other side of the coin. Like it. So, oh my gosh, the thing about the industry is it's not really regulated. And so even to be a sex educator, like you don't need anything to do that. I mean, I do have the stuffs to do it, but you don't really, like, for a very long time you didn't need anything additional to be a sex therapist. You just needed to be a therapist who was comfortable talking about sex. Now there are some states that require you to take additional classes and I'm the one teaching them classes to take additional classes to help you be a sex therapist. But you don't have to be, in most states, you don't have to be as sexually trained to be able to be a sex therapist. You just need to be a therapist who's comfortable talking about sex. So, but if you do go to therapy, I would recommend you getting a sex positive therapist. And when I say a sex positive therapist, I mean a person who is going to understand that your kinks are a part of your life and that you're not putting yourself in danger, or all the other crazy stuff that old people think you doing when you practicing magic just because you like your nipples wrapped up, and I'm like, oh, she's a witch. So all that stuff, and those people are doctors, are physicians, are nurses. You go in there to get your blood drawn and you have marks on your arm, rope burns on your arm. They're gonna be concerned for you, like, what's going on. Be like, no, that's my favorite part. Like, these rope burns are my favorite part. So it's really difficult to find sex positive medical help. But and if that is important to you, then make sure that you're asking those kind of questions when you're going to therapy. Like, hey, how do you feel about kinks? Like, what is your experience dealing with customers who are into this or that? Or, what is your stance on that? How you don't want somebody, it sounds like two different perspectives to attempt to counsel from. Not really for sex and therapy. Not really. So here's the thing about sex and sex therapy. Um, we professionals have a very different idea of sex addiction. Yeah, it's we think so when people think about therapy, they think, oh, you're going to therapy because you're addicted to sex. Usually the behaviors that people enact when they're doing sex, or they're participating in risky behaviors, has nothing to do with sex. It's a byproduct of whatever else is going on. So if someone has obsessive compulsive disorder, and you see them flipping a switch on and off, on and off, on and off, you don't think like, dang, they really got that switch is really on their nerves, or it's really bothering them, or they got a problem flipping the switch. No, their problem is obsessive compulsive disorder, and them flipping the switch is the result of that problem. It's the same thing with sexuality. People usually engage in risky behaviors because of something else. It rarely has to do with sexuality. Sexuality is just a modality of flipping the light switch on and off. So it's not so difficult to treat that, because it rarely has to do with sexuality. That's just the outlet. So that's why you didn't need. Well, I don't think they believed that you needed any additional training to deal with sex therapy, or people who were requesting a sex therapist. They just thought that, it's whatever it is, that the sex is probably a byproduct, or the lights flipping of it, but that's usually not the case, and we could treat it on this end. But the problem wasn't that. The problem is that it's difficult for therapists to understand why people participate in BDSM activities, and sometimes the lens under which they see you is skewed because they don't believe in how you live your life. So that's the part that makes it more difficult. But on the grand spectrum of them, there's a lot of people who think they have sex addiction who likely don't, who very, very likely don't. I have not met anyone with sex addiction yet. I've met people who really like sex. I've met people who use sex as an outlet for other things, but I have not met anyone with, and again, when you think of addiction, you think of, is it going to ruin your quality of life? Are you not going to work? Are you not showing up for your children? Are you not showing up for your family for sex? Are you missing soccer games? Are you selling the TV for sex? When you talk about addiction, addiction has a very linear model of what it looks like. And you can take that model and you can put food and you can put shopping and you can put everything in this model and it works. But sex education doesn't, I mean, sex addiction doesn't usually fit in that model. Sometimes it does. Sometimes people are doing very, very risky things with their bodies, but it's usually not for the joy or the high of sex. It's usually because they're running from something else, or it's a trigger, or that's how they placate, or that's how they flip their light switch when whatever's going on. So it it can be done. It can be done. If I was saying this about I think that more celebrities need to be in sex therapy. Not because of like what they need to be in therapy that includes sex therapy. Because I don't think, and also rich people, because I don't think people with money, when you have money, you can buy your way out of everything, right? You don't really have to be a good person. You just have to have money. And so people who have money have kind of leaned on that for a while. And they usually lack sexual discipline if they have money. But people lack sexual discipline anyway. But you have more to lose. If Tyrone, who put the stickers on the avocados at Homeland, don't have sexual discipline, he just got 7 kids, and 7 angry baby mamas. But someone like Shannon Sharp, who does not have sexual discipline, can lose a lot of their livelihood. So I just think it's so important I think that sexual discipline is more important than people give it credit for. I will say that. All right. That was a good question. Okay. If you have any questions, you are free to leave them in the chat. If you have questions and you don't want them attached to who you are, or, attached to your username, you can send those questions to me and I will bring them to the chat. Bring them back to the chat later. And that way it won't be like attached to you, right? Okay, hold on. Like, geez Louise. Okay, next question. This is the next user question. And it is, sometimes I feel guilty after sex. Is that normal? Man, that's kind of, dang, that's actually, I didn't even think about that. That's probably the other end of the first question we had. Okay. It can be. It can be. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but sometimes the ways that we are socialized lead us to believe that sex is a pleasure that we should not be able to partake in, right? That you shouldn't like, that you shouldn't desire, that you should not want to do that. And, that sex is purely for procreation, and sometimes even go as far as mutilating the body so that pleasure is relegated. If you think about the context under which you were socialized, and you may not have been socialized in exactly that way, but some of the ways in which certain bodies are expected to behave will socialize you without the words, right? And so it's what you see on TV, it's what is highlighted as the good person, the good boy, the good girl, the wholesome woman, the virtuous man, those types of things, those signals that you receive from the environment that you're in can shape the way you feel about yourself and shape the way you feel about others around you. So, absolutely, it can make you feel like even if you were having a great time, once you're done, those societal coats come back on and you feel bad for engaging in pleasure because they told you that that's not what you were supposed to be doing. Or, like, okay, now if you're doing something you ain't got no business, like you sleeping with somebody's husband or somebody's wife, and you feel guilty, then you goddamn should feel guilty. You should feel guilty. If you are cheating and holding hands at the fair with somebody else's, yes, you might feel guilty. But and don't show back up. You should be guilty and go home. They have had enough. But if that is not the case, and you are a great, wholesome, young man or woman, or NB, whatever you are, and because you're talking to me, I'm always going to assume that if you around me, then you're a great person. I would have never showed up here. I've never showed up in your feed if you weren't at least a piece of a great person. Okay? So, using that logic, I'm going to assume that you are not out here holding hands with the first lady. Okay. But you can absolutely feel guilt for living your life outside of the parameters under which you were socialized. So even if you play the game right, you grow up, you play softball, you were the homecoming queen, you got 2 sashes for graduation, you were the valedictorian, you did everything right. When you go off to college and you start having relationships and start going through it, going through the motions of finding out who you are and getting in relationships and moving through different parameters of your boundaries, you are going to have some guilt. You are going to have a little bit of reverence for the person that you were before that happened. But that is not something that you will continue to experience if you are making your pleasure a focus. Okay? So if you are only engaging in activities that you are going to have fun in, and you don't let nobody off the hook about you not having the fun that you came to have, right? Listen, that's one thing, baby. Auntie not going to ever do that. And I'm never going to do that. Fake a what? Never in my life. Okay? So know what you're going to do. Know what you want. And that is a learning process in itself. And so that can feel guilty as well. But you're not doing something that anyone else hasn't done. You're learning the same way everybody else learned. Of course, they want you to learn better, but they didn't learn better, so they don't get to ask that of you. Like, someone wanted them to be better too. Someone wanted them to do something different, and they didn't. They ended up choosing what they did. And so you have the same room to do the same. Auntie's only rule is that you survive, okay? Listen, baby, I need you to survive, because I can't hear the story if we got to find you in the top of a tree somewhere. So I need you to survive so you can tell me the story, but you got to survive. Okay. So feeling guilty is usually a social construct of sexual behavior. And it's usually based around the fact that sex and sexuality is usually relegated to certain people under certain circumstances. People think you're too poor. They think you shouldn't be having sex. If you're homeless, you shouldn't be interested in sex. If you're disabled, you shouldn't be interested in sex. And so there's all these parameters that other people put around you that may not necessarily fit the values that you have. I actually quite want to do other things. So, working through that guilt is a process. It's a process of figuring out where it comes from. Is it a societal issue? Is the guilt coming from religious constraints? Is it coming from gender constraints? Is it coming from pleasure and accountability restraints? Like, do you believe that you deserve that? Are you self-sabotaging you having that because you don't feel like that's something you deserve? So that guilt may be a way that you're punishing yourself that you don't, that's not actually yours. It may be just a societal expectation, a coat that you put on that is not your coat. So if you don't want to feel guilty after sex, and I'm again assuming that you doing what you're supposed to do and not sleeping with nobody, man or girl, boy, whoever, that don't belong to somebody else already, um you'll get over that. You will move past that. But in most cases, that guilt comes from, if you are in America at least, it usually comes from religious expectations. Man, that water is so good. And you gonna give me some more Sonic ice. All right, all right. Okay, we got one. I'm gonna do one more. If y'all have questions, drop them in there. I am happy to answer them. I would love to answer whatever questions you may have, as long as they as long as they let it in. Let me see. I got a little button up here. Is it Okay, no, that's not for that. I gotta make sure. Okay, let me put this question in there. Here is a user question. Is there a difference between intimacy and sex? It's a really good question. And yes, there is. Um, you will see intimacy. I use intimacy interchangeably with sex just as a way to keep the algorithm off of me. I like to call them intimate connections. Um, but it is absolutely a difference between intimacy and sex. Intimacy requires care. You don't need care for sex. Intimacy requires a knowledge of your partner. It is a appreciation of pleasure for your partner. It is you providing an experience for the other person. And to do that, you have to know them. You have to be aware of what they like, what they don't like. You have to know their triggers. You have to know what turns them on, what turns them off, all those types of things. And so that is what intimacy is built around. There is a level of care that someone has for you that crosses over into your sexual encounters. So, for instance, if you are a man and you like to have your nipples touched, and your partner knows that, and your partner makes a concerted effort to include your nipples in the connection, then that is intimacy, because that was done for you, because I know that that is something that you like, and I am using this moment to bring that pleasure to you. Now, for sex, you don't really have to care about any of that. You came over here, is 4:30 a.m. I still got Bobo's honey on my fingers, or Taco Bell. There's Taco Bell packets in the bed. Like, you know what you're here for. There's nothing wrong with that. But intimacy requires a level and a connection between those two people that is important for the experience. So it is, and again, it doesn't even have to be. It's not even necessarily like a soft or whatever. It could be a curated BDSM experience where somebody come in, snatch you by your hair, throw you down on the bed, and chase you down, and that's what you want. And so that experience is curated especially for you So even though it was a rougher experience, because that's what you wanted, that is considered an intimate encounter. So it is very much a difference. And the difference is specifically the care that comes along with it. And here we are again, because I also wrote a book on the technical guide to creating intimacy. And that is just a book to help you connect with your partner, to learn and to curate an intimate experience based on the needs of your partner. Because sometimes, and you when you show up in the bedroom, you showing up in the bedroom as you, like, okay, I'm gonna come in, I need to get mine, I need to figure out what I'm gonna do, I need to make sure I'm putting on a good show, I need to make sure my belly look good, and that I don't sweat too much, and that I don't fart, and like all this stuff. And so you have all of these things, but to go into a session and to only have the pleasure of your partner on your mind, to only be worried about what is about to happen to the other person in the room, that is what intimacy is. And that is a fundamental foundational block of a healthy relationship, because care requires knowledge and learning. And if you know what your partner likes and you still don't do it, then you're a butthole. You're a butthole. But if you don't know, then you're just being lazy. So if you want to differentiate between intimacy and sex, the best way to do that is by inserting care into those connections. You need to, do a little bit of research and do some work to see, what they like and what you like, and go from there. Okay? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, okay. Do we have any other questions? Let me see. That was a good one too, because I use dang, it said I got 1,000 likes on TikTok. Jeez Louise. Now, usually that's where I get kicked off at. Like, TikTok can kick me off quick, honey. Quick. And again, I completely get that. A lot of the platforms that I'm using, this is not what they're used for. This is not what they're meant for. So this is, I'm inserting myself into a space that was not built for me, and I just have to figure out how to do that. But baby, TikTok will get me up out of here fast. I'll be back, like I always say, but they gonna get me up out of here. I'm like, oh no, you showed a half of an areola. That's enough. Get out of here. You're suspended for 7 days. So I don't know. I want, like, again, I want people on there to be able to find it, but not enough to do all that. Like, I'm not. I'm like, I'm not gonna do all that. Oh man, that's so funny to be like talking about what I'm not gonna do, and I need $60,000. I need to get me some scratch offs. I really think I'm gonna win the lotto. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know, but I know that if I played, I would win. But I don't play. I don't play, especially since they done took the Mega Millions. Is the only sponge, it might be gone. Do they have I don't know if they have that everywhere. If they have lotto everywhere, but they done raised up the lotto tickets, the Mega Millions to $5. Baby, you can keep that ticket. I don't need it. It's $1 or $2. That's what you're gonna get. Something I can take out of my pocket. You want me to make a financial decision with $5 and then give it to you, and you not finna give me nothing back on a bunch of those occasions? Oh no, honey. I like scratch offs anyway. I've been addicted to scratch offs before they even came here. I love me a scratch off, honey. I'll go spend. I just want to see him scratch it all day, all day. I love scratch off so much. That's how my husband proposed to me. I don't even be know if I be winning or not. I just like to scratch off. One of my best friends used to live in Phoenix, and every time I came out there, he was like, "You want to go get some scratch offs?" I do. Before we get to the house, I do. Let's go get some scratch offs. When they said they was bringing the hair, baby, I was hyped. Ooh, I'm finna be scratch. Think I got half a scratch off in my purse right now. I ain't finished scratching it off because I think it was like 8 eights or something, and I already scratched off like 7 of the things. I'm like, man, ain't no damn eights in here. But it's like 15 of them on there, so we gonna see. I don't know, man. But I do like me a little scratch off. I am gonna win one day. It ain't gonna matter when I do win, but I am gonna win. Um, y'all want some money when I win? I'll give y'all. If I win the lotto, everybody get $20. Everybody who here, I'm gonna take a screenshot. And I'm like, you get $20, and you get $20. I would be mad if I won the lotto for like $400, but right now I'll probably take that $400. But imagine winning. Well, no, I will take that back. What? I don't know. What's the most that somebody that I know that someone won off a lotto ticket? I think it was a lady I used to work with. She used to win on the lotto all the time. She won 2 times, like a big payout. It wasn't a super payout. I think on the first one she said she paid off her house. And it was I loved her. She had a bunch of little kids in a van. She's an older lady. She dressed like a teacher. She dressed like a teacher. But she won the lotto 2 times. First time she paid off her house. I think the second time she said she bought like some computers and stuff. Which, back in the day, they used to be a little bit of bank. So it used to be, they used to be computer with the booty on it. Used to be big paper. But yeah, I think she probably the most. And then I know somebody who won off a scratch off, won like 10, 11,000 off a scratch off. I know somebody else who won 26,000 off a scratch off. So I'm like, man, I know I'm gonna win, but I'm definitely not gonna win if I don't buy the damn tickets. And it's so funny today because I needed some money. I was like, oh, I need money. I need to go do blah, 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 blah. But I had to go do some stuff, so I was going to have, like, cash. I needed cash. And I went and did the lady's yard, and she gave me some cash. And I turned right around and gave that dang money. I went in to go get a slushie. I had $5 in my hand. I went in to go get a slushie. It was a man outside, and it was a black man. He was like, can you help me out? And I was like, I'm finna go get a slushie. And I'm going to give you the... I'm gonna give you the change. And so I went in, but the slushie machines, it was hot today, so they wasn't working, and I was pissed. So I came back out, and I didn't have a slushie, but I was like, look, I'm gonna take 2 of these dollars, and I'm gonna give you $3, and I'm not getting a slushie, but you can have my $3. He had a black in his mouth. I'm like, thank you, baby. He was sitting outside asking for money with a black in his mouth. And he was kind of clean too, but listen, you a different breed if you can sit out there and ask for money because it's hot as hell. I don't want no money that bad. I don't want nothing that bad to sit out there in no dickies. Maybe I got better things to do with my time. Okay? Ooh, absolutely not. I'm tired right now, but I got something else to do today. What am I doing today, you might ask? I gotta go into my dang storage because I have to pull out my toys. So on my Patreon tonight, I started a Patreon, and we're gonna go through some of my toys, some of my big purchases, some of my big toys that I use for like my exhibitions. Right. He probably went in there and bought another black with my money. I'm not mad about it. He can buy his little black if he want to. If that's what he gonna do with it, I guess. Again, if you gonna sit out here all day for a wine wood tip, you got it. Cause I mean, it was big hot. I was dirty. You see, I tore my hands all up. So, but anyway, so this tonight, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are going to be showing some of my toys from my large, very, very large collection. I'm going to take out just a couple of things, a couple of some furniture and stuff to show you. Yeah, I can't do it on here. It was one of the questions that I got, but I was like, I can't. Some of the stuff that y'all ask me about, they won't let me do it here. So, but of course, we're only going to be looking at these toys in an educational sense. I will not be using them, so don't be looking for that. There will be no nakedness. All it's going to be is me cussing and trying to figure out how to plug shit up and looking for the cord for this and wondering where the pillow is for that. It's just going to be me, some toys, and a bunch of cussing. But I do want to show you some stuff because I feel like if you can see it, it makes it more accessible to you. And people don't realize that you can, I mean, when people buy sex toys, they usually buy like the little intimate little toys that you can hide in a drawer and stuff like that. But like you can buy the big shit too. Like you can build it, you can buy it, you can do whatever you want to do with it. I don't think I'm going to pull nothing out that I done built this year, or tomorrow, because I don't have time to do that. But I am going to take out some of like my big ticket items, some of my bigger toys, and we'll go through them. We'll talk about them and talk about what they do and, all that good stuff. So um, we will do that tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that's going to be for my Patreon members. For the people who are subscribed to my Patreon, it is $3. It will, if you sign up now, it will be $3 forever. And you will be on the ground floor of helping me to build my Patreon page. And when I blow up Shuate, I will be happy to take you along with me if you want to go to a Diddy party. I will be happy to bring you along. I'm going to be there making sure nobody's getting drugged. If y'all going to be in here having fun, and everybody's going to be having fun, but you ain't finna be up in here drugging people and doing all of that. You don't even have to do that. That's what I don't be. Let me turn this back on me so y'all can see how serious I am. Because I'm like, you don't even have to do that. For the record, you don't have to do that. You do not have to trick or force or drug anybody into doing kinky shit. As long as you have the right person and the right kinky shit, you do not have to do that. You don't have to do that. There are plenty of parties where nobody is doing that. The best parties have nothing. No alcohol, no nothing. That way, everybody who's there is consenting. Everybody is with a right mind, all of that stuff. Now, I do understand that there are a lot of people who don't like to party like that. Okay, if you bring your own drugs and whatever, that's fine. But you do not have to supply that and do that at those parties. That is not necessary. Them people will do all of that shit sober, baby. They do not need drugs. Like you don't have to do that. Okay, if you want to have a party and you want people to come to your party, please do not be drugging them folk, okay, and doing all of that. You do not have to do that. All of those people, if you invite the right people and you invite the right kinks, you don't have to do nothing. You just move. You need to move. That's what you need to do. Get out of the way. That's what you need to do. But that is not necessary at them parties. It really hurt my feelings to find out that that's what they were doing. That they were like, you don't have to do that. I don't want, like, I'll set you down. Hey, come in here and sit down. You're doing too much. And the thing about that too is that one of the biggest things about parties and alcohol and stuff, like we really had to monitor like what kind of libations and things we were serving, just because they'll come to the pants party. They will come to the pants party, absolutely. Freely and willingly come to the pants party. You do not have to trick them at all. But you do not have to trick them. But yeah, you don't. It really hurt my feelings that they were doing that. You don't have to do that. People want to be turned, like they want to do they. So the thing about it is that with alcohol too, um, if you've ever been in a situation where you've had high anxiety, like have you ever heard people say that the bride never gets drunk on her wedding day? The bride and groom never get drunk. They're so nervous, it's so much to do, all that. You don't get drunk. So that same kind of thing can happen when you have like a lot of anxiousness around a party. And so people can come to sex parties and they can drink and keep drinking and keep drinking and keep drinking because they're not getting drunk yet. And then of course they overdrink because their adrenaline is going because they're somewhere they've never been before. It's stuff, all kind of titties and everything everywhere, and that adrenaline gets to going, and so they drink but they don't get drunk, and then that can hit you later on down in the party. You know what I'm saying? Because you took 7 shots. You know what I mean? And like that's not usually what you take, but you wasn't getting drunk because you were so high strung from being in this environment and being really really nervous. And it's really hard to enjoy a drink when you're really really nervous. And so sometimes people drink to like take the nervousness off, but if you're so nervous, you don't get drunk. You just have it in your body. You got liquor in your body until you don't feel good no more. So you just got to be really mindful, even just of like what the drinks that you're serving at a party, because people can, man, it can get real real fast. And when people are in an environment they've never been in before. So you can't even come to a party here unless you with somebody. Like we don't do no new. You can't just be one person. You gotta have a chaperone. You need to have somebody with you to watch you, because I don't have no time for that. I don't have no time for it. So, but yeah, Halloween's coming up. I'm excited about it. My Halloween parties are my favorites. And so I love me. I don't know what I'm going to be yet. I got this material. I probably need to like go on and like make the dress that I want to make, but I don't know. I don't know. I got too much stuff to do. I still got to build something. I still have to build. What am I going to build? And I need to paint something too. Like I need to draw something. I don't think I drew anything last year. I gotta draw something this year. So things, right? All the things that need to be done. Stuff. But Halloween's coming up, so y'all better get ready. I don't want to hear no excuses. No excuses, honey. Leave me out of it. You either got the outfit and the money or you don't. Okay? Well, I was just not finna stress me. You are not finna stress me. Okay? What else? What else? Oh, let's talk about the rest of the shows for the week. For the rest of this week. Whew, it's been hot. It's supposed to cool down. I'm ready. All right. So today is Wednesday. So tomorrow is Sex Tech Thursday, where we will be discussing the future of sex and technology. And this Thursday, we're actually going to be talking about data harvesting in your sex toys. So there's a lot of data being communicated in all of these newer toys with the Bluetooth and the biohaptics and the biofeedback and all these different things that the newer toys possess. There's also a large amount of data being stored and distributed in those cases as well. So we're going to look at ways you can, what you can do, who's being ethical, and how we can try to control where that data goes and what it's being used for. Now, we can talk about it, but people do whatever they want to do. They will happily pay everybody that little $13 for the data breach for the overall thing, they will pay that money easily to be able to breach your data. So not too much. And then Friday at 9 p.m. is going to be late night with Coach Catasha, where we're going to be here chatting it up and hanging out and talking about all things sex and relationships and monogamy and polyamory and all the good stuff. So you can come in, make sure that you're following us on whatever social platform you own. Right now, we should be on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Make TikTok your last resort because, again, like I said, they cancel me all the time. And, hey, I'm not mad at it. You do what you got to do. But you can follow me on any of the other social media platforms. And then make sure you're following the show and the schedule so that you can get alerts when I go live. I'm not usually going live to shoot the breeze with the mailman. It's usually only on the scheduled times. I probably need to be doing more, but man, where do y'all get the minutes? Like, it's so many responsibilities. Like, how am I supposed to do all these things? I'm supposed to work out. I'm supposed to wash my hair. I'm supposed to stop my lips from getting black. I'm supposed to keep my eyebrows arched, put on deodorant, and cook, and fight mosquitoes, and my goodness, all types of things. In other news, my zinnias came up. My zinnias came up, and so the hummingbirds have been having a field day in the flowers. We got some juice out there for them too, but the hummingbirds have been playing on the zinnias. I've been watering the yard, watering the yard so that they like to play in between the sprinkles on the sprinkler. Like the hummingbirds will literally like wait and zoom and try to get past, and it's so funny. You don't even have to be doing that. They just be out there being roguish for no reason. But I love my hummingbirds, so I don't have nothing to say. And then my cardinals have moved into the bush for the winter. So, well, I don't know if it's for the winter. They've been there for the summer. They might leave. But we get some some birds here in the winter. But it's usually like, what are those things called? Hold on. Because I'm finna lie about this bird. I want to say it's a titmouse, but I think I just want to say that word. I don't think that's actually what the birds are called. Let me look it up. We get a lot of them. I don't know. Mm, oh, it is the tufted titmouse. We do get those, and then we get those in the winter. And then what's another bird? Let me look at these other birds and see if I can find. Oh, this bird. What's this bird called? Because we get these too. This don't have nothing to do with nothing, but this is my show. Y'all not the boss of me. We get some. The hummingbirds are out there now. So if you're in North America, the hummingbirds are making their way to. The hummingbirds are making their way to South America. So put your hummingbird feeders out so you can give them some juice while they're traveling. Um, we do get the red-winged bird. Get woodpeckers, black caped, black capped chickadee. We get those too. So we get the tufted titmouse and the chickadees in the winter. I should put some more bird food out for them. I haven't put none. This stuff for the hummingbirds, but the other bird feeder is empty. That's what I'm saying. There's a million things to do all the time. There's so many things to do forever. My gosh. Okay. So we are wrapping for the day. If you have any questions for next Wednesday, you can send those questions to expressionoveroppression@gmail.com. I will be happy to answer them and bring them back to the chat on Wednesday, and we can answer them live. If you do have any questions, um, you can send them there, or you can send them to any of my social media platforms. Let me give you my link tree so that you can. Oh, I don't want this. I remember my supervisor, like my education supervisor, for me to do this work, was listening to one of these shows one day, and I was doing this, and she was like, she texted me, and she was like, "Do you know that we can hear you?" I was like, "Yes." I don't care. Girl, I'm trying to think. She was just like, "Oh, I didn't know." Like, "Oh no, I don't. Yeah, I'm good." I'm over talking to myself. Y'all are in my world, okay? I think that's what everybody be missing is that, like, this world already exists. I'm trying to invite y'all in, but I've already done all the work. This is what it is. This is the story that we have. This is it. So I don't know how to be nobody else. I only know how to be me. That's all I got for us. So it's gonna have to be enough. Make it enough. Okay, here's my link tree. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. Let's Control Z that. And you can send those questions also to any of my social medias. And I can pull it out of the boxes in there as well. Or if you're on Twitch, you can send me a whisper, whatever you need to do. And I will be happy to answer your questions. Okay, well, I need to renew my fishing license, y'all. I think it'll get me through the rest of this year, though. The rest of this season, at least. I'm gonna ask my husband, can we go fishing? My birthday is coming up too. Just in case anybody concerned, you should be. My birthday's coming up August the 30th, so it's a Saturday. So please feel free to buy me drinks and stuff. I appreciate that. All right. Okay, I will see y'all tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for Sex Tech Thursday, where we will be talking about data harvesting